Picture this. You power up your new console, and the sheer realism of the graphics forces your eyes to do a double take, genuinely questioning if you're watching a cutscene or actual reality. Imagine sprawling worlds that materialize in an instant, lighting that precisely mimics actual sunlight reflecting off every surface, and a raw performance capability that makes even the most graphically punishing games feel completely effortless. Now, wrap all of that potential power into the next generation PlayStation. Because today, we're diving deep into every groundbreaking detail, leak, and rumor surrounding the PlayStation 6. And if the whispers are true, this piece of hardware is poised to fundamentally redefine what console gaming can be. Subscribe for more informative videos, as I work hard to gather useful information for you. In return, you just hit the bell icon button to stay updated. It's been half a decade since the PS5 first hit shelves, a year since the PS5 Pro arrived. Time truly does fly in the world of gaming tech. When it launched in 2020, the PS5 already felt like a massive leap forward, but the march of next-gen technology never ceases. Components evolve, gamers rightfully expect more, and developers constantly push the boundaries of what's possible. According to a confluence of compelling leaks and even some calculated hints from Sony themselves, the company is secretly preparing what could be one of the most transformative leaps in console hardware history. The PS6 is still a few years from launch, but the early leaks are piling up, painting a truly staggering picture. We're talking about a completely new CPU architecture, a GPU rumored to sit in the same league as the current flagship PC cards like the RTX 4090, dedicated AI hardware co-developed alongside AMD, a sleek, redefined aesthetic, a flexible, detachable disk drive, intelligently designed cooling systems, next-generation storage speeds, and even the tantalizing possibility of a PS6, companion handheld device boasting near PS5-level performance. We're assembling all of these disparate pieces of information today to give you the clearest possible preview of the PS6, and honestly, if even half of the speculation proves accurate, it's going to be absolutely wild. Let's start with the brain of the PS6, the core hardware. The PS5 currently utilizes an 8-core, 16-thread CPU based on AMD Zen 2 architecture, a chip comparable to the capable Ryzen 3700 series. While excellent when it debuted, it will be nearly a decade old by the time the PS6 is scheduled to launch in 2027, and Sony understands that relying on outdated architecture would severely limit next-gen ambition. The PS6 is therefore rumored to skip several generations, jumping straight to AMD's unreleased Zen 6, or possibly even follow-up Ion architecture. That's not a 1 or 2 generation hop, but a massive 4-generation leap ahead of what's in the PS5 today. Leaks suggest we might see a shift to a hybrid design, featuring 8 high-performance cores alongside 2 efficiency cores, a setup mirroring modern desktop processors, where the smaller, efficient cores manage background system processes, leaving the powerful cores to dedicate their full attention to the heavy lifting of your game. This means gameplay that remains consistently smooth, fast, and highly responsive, free from random system-related slowdowns, leading to better multitasking, improved streaming capabilities, and a system that feels immediately snappier overall. The entire APU, which is a singular chip containing both the CPU and GPU, is rumored to be manufactured using TSMC's cutting-edge 3-nanometer process, promising incredible gains in efficiency. Smaller transistors translate directly into higher performance, significantly reduce heat generation and lower power consumption. If the leaks hold true, we're looking at a die size of approximately $280/Texanium-2, making it larger than the chip in the PS5 Slim, but still slightly smaller than the original PS5's chip, a clear indicator that Sony is once again determined to push the absolute limits of silicon manufacturing. However, the truly earth-shaking news revolves around the GPU. Moore's Law is dead, a leaker with confirmed track record of accurately detailing the PS5, PS5 Pro, and PlayStation Portal, claims the PS6 GPU could be between 2 and 3 times faster than the PS5 in traditional rendering tasks, and a staggering 6 to 12 times faster in complex ray tracing calculations. Take a moment to absorb that figure. Ray tracing, which simulates realistic light and shadows, has historically been the most computationally demanding feature for current console hardware. The PS6 could potentially make high-quality ray tracing a standard, expected feature, not a noticeable, frame rate-killing option. The GPU is rumored to leverage AMD's next-generation RDNA architecture, likely RDNA 5 or even RDNA 6 by the time of release. And according to MLID, the PS6 raw performance could even approach or surpass that of an NVIDIA RTX 4090. That a PC flagship GPU currently costing around $1,500, potentially housed inside a console retailing for perhaps $500 to $700. Does that sound impossible? Under normal circumstances, yes. But consoles benefit from immense optimization advantages, extremely efficient custom silicon, and running on lean, low-level APIs that standard PCs simply cannot match. Combine this with the advancements of the new manufacturing process, and what sounds like science fiction begins to enter the realm of possibility. These dramatic performance claims are not just pulled from thin air. Sony recently collaborated with AMD to showcase what they called Project Amethyst, a preview of 3 advanced technologies being jointly developed for their future gaming hardware. In a public video, Mark Cerny and AMD's Jack Wynn discussed the deep integration of AI directly into the next generation of consoles. The first innovation mentioned was neural arrays, which allows the GPU's compute units to intelligently interconnect and collaborate more effectively, moving beyond isolated processing. A neural array enables them to coordinate work in ways that exponentially boost performance and eliminate wasted processing power. Put simply, it makes the GPU smarter. Next are Radiance cores, which are dedicated hardware blocks specifically designed to handle the colossal workload of ray tracing calculations. The main objective here is to offload ray tracing from the main GPU and CPU, allowing the rest of the chip to focus entirely on maintaining high frame rates. Finally, they introduced universal compression, a technology that uses AI to compress game data more efficiently than anything currently available. This means developers can utilize more detailed textures, higher poly models, and larger environments without forcing players to download terabytes of data. Cerny was careful to state these features were experimental and not final, but it's obvious these weren't mere tech demonstrations. Sony was providing a calculated glimpse into the architecture of the PS6 era. Now, let's touch upon backwards compatibility, because this is huge. The PS6 is virtually guaranteed to remain on the industry-standard x86 architecture. If Sony maintains this foundational similarity, then comprehensive PS4 and PS5 backward compatibility becomes an overwhelming probability. This would mean that, for the first time in over 20 years, we could have a Sony console capable of supporting 2 entire generations of its predecessors. Imagine launching your new PS6 and having immediate, seamless access to your entire PS4 library, your complete PS5 collection, and the new PS6 games, all in a single, unified ecosystem. This would be a massive win for game preservation and provide unprecedented value to consumers. Memory is another area slated for a huge upgrade. Rumors indicate the PS6 will employ a 160-bit memory bus, capable of delivering around $640 GB per second of memory bandwidth, a noticeable jump over the PS5 Pro and over 40% faster than the base PS5. If Sony opts for $3 GB GDDR7 modules, the console could end up with $30 GB RAM, nearly doubling the current capacity. This unlocks the door for developers to create truly massive open worlds, implement smarter AI, simulate more complex physics, and face far fewer technical limitations. In terms of aesthetics, what will the PS6 actually look like? While no final images exist, leaks suggest a more reserved and subtle design language, sleeker, simpler, and aligning with the trend of modern minimalist technology. The PS5 was intentionally massive, bold, and visually polarizing. The PS6 may follow a cleaner, more understated direction that blends better into a living room. Another persistent rumor points to a detachable optical drive, similar to what was introduced with the PS5 Slim. For flexibility, this is brilliant. Players can choose a slimmer, digital-only console if they prefer, or purchase and attach the drive later if they want to play physical discs. It provides consumer choice, and it can save Sony manufacturing costs. Furthermore, Sony has filed patents for dust-resistant designs, possibly utilizing internal air channels that allow crucial airflow but are engineered to block dust and debris. If successful, we might finally see a console generation that doesn't act like a massive magnet for household dust. As for the controller, the rumored DualSense V3 may feature an all-new removable and rechargeable battery, using a modern USB-C connector. It would retain all the elements that make the DualSense great, the world-class haptics and adaptive triggers, but solve one of its biggest, most persistent complaints, battery life and the inability to easily swap a depleted battery. This updated controller could potentially even launch before the PS6, perhaps alongside an eventual PS5 Pro refresh, giving us an early taste of what the PS6 experience will feel like in our hands. Storage is also getting a mandatory refresh. The PS6 is expected to launch with a $2/text TB $PCI Gen 5 NVMe SSD, guaranteeing faster load times, lightning-quick data transfers, and the capacity needed to accommodate increasingly massive modern games. Hopefully, Sony maintains a user-friendly approach of allowing consumers to upgrade their own SSDs, as the PS5 made that process incredibly seamless, and losing that freedom would be a mistake. So, when will all of this tech arrive? According to Kepler_L2, another highly credible leaker, the PS6 is currently aiming for a 2027 release. This timeline fits perfectly with Sony's historical pattern. PS3 in 2006, PS4 in 2013, PS5 in 2020. A standard 7-year cycle makes complete sense. Price speculation is mixed. Moore's Law is dead suggests a price point around $500, while other outlets estimate it landing between $550 and $700. My personal, educated prediction is a launch price of $700. Considering global inflation, rising tariffs, and Microsoft's declaration that their next Xbox will be a premium device, I believe Sony will confidently push the price ceiling higher, especially since the PS5 Pro will likely drop to the $500 mark by 2027, making a $700 PS6 a logical placement in the console ecosystem. We're still approximately 2 years out, but the PS6 is already shaping up to be one of the most significant generational leaps we've ever witnessed. It's not just about faster hardware, but smarter hardware, featuring deep AI power functionalities, vastly improved ray tracing, monumental CPU upgrades, the option of a handheld device delivering PS5, low performance on the move, and most crucially, the freedom for developers to finally create bigger, better, and far more ambitious virtual worlds. And here's one final thought to chew on. Grand Theft Auto 6 is slated for release next year. If the PS6 launches just a year later, Rockstar will have the ideal opportunity to release an ultimate, enhanced PS6 version with next-level graphics, lighting, physics, and AI. If any single game could truly showcase the overwhelming potential of next-gen console hardware, it's GTA 6. And the timing of these two events lines up far too perfectly to be a coincidence. So, what is my personal take on the PS6? Honestly, I believe this generation might finally erase the final dividing line between high-end PC and console performance. That performance gap is rapidly shrinking, and if Sony can genuinely deliver rumored 4090 level power inside a console custom-engineered for maximum gaming efficiency, we could be looking at the most accessible and most capable living room gaming experience ever constructed. The synergy of raw power, AI acceleration, and superior cooling has the potential to give us a level of stability and performance that even many high-end custom PC builds struggle to consistently match. For the millions of players who value convenience, simplicity, and instant gameplay free of configuration headaches, the PS6 could very well be the ultimate solution. If Sony manages to pull this vision off, the PS6 will not just be a simple upgrade. It will be a major statement, a declaration that dedicated console gaming is not only here to stay, but that the cutting edge of the gaming future belongs to everyone, not exclusively to those who can afford several $1,000s in PC components. And now, as we patiently await more official details and the next wave of leaks, one thing remains crystal clear. The next generation is no longer a distant dream. It is already beginning to take definitive shape. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.